This is Valley News Live at noon.
And we start off with breaking news out of Lisbon. We're following a lead of a structure fire inside the city that killed 2 people over the weekend. Now we have reached out to local authorities and are waiting for word back on exact details. In a community Facebook group, posts indicate a man and a woman were the victims. We're also waiting to confirm that with officials. Stick with Valley News Live this afternoon as we follow this developing story. And new at noon, a retired paramedic who was passing by a crash scene helped rescue someone from a burning vehicle along I29. The Richland County Sheriff's Office says a 2-vehicle crash was reported around 1:15 yesterday afternoon near the interstate and Highway 13. When deputies arrived, everyone was out of the burning car. The passerby was able to get the driver out and give first aid to the driver and passenger. A woman was flown to the Sanford Trauma Center with serious injuries. 2 men were taken to area hospitals with minor injuries. A new information, a farm building is destroyed after an fire early this morning in Clay County. Several area fire departments were called to the 1500 block of 190th Avenue Northwest in Georgetown. That's north of Moorhead on Highway 75. Sheriff Mark Empting says there was a tractor and 4-wheelers inside the shop. No one was hurt, but the building is a total loss. And police are releasing the names of 2 men shot to death in North Fargo over the weekend and are asking anyone with information on the case to come forward. Police are awaiting autopsy results on 27-year-old Gary Davies and 28-year-old Jaquan Gaywood of both of Fargo. Their bodies were found around 3 Saturday morning in the 1000 block of 15th Street North after reports of shots fired. Investigators say that the 2 victims knew each other. Police are searching for witnesses to the shooting, and anyone with information can call Fargo PD, or you can text Fargo PD and the tip to 847-411. A candlelight vigil is planned in Broadway Square to remember and honor the victims of the mass shooting at a Club Q in Colorado Springs over the weekend. The gathering is happening at 6 o'clock tomorrow night at Broadway Square in downtown Fargo. The massacre happened at the LGBTQ club on National Transgender Day of Remembrance. And we'll have more on that in just a minute, but first, some snow may be coming for some later today. Let's get a look with meteorologist Lisa Green. Hi, Lisa.
Well, good afternoon. We're looking at some clouds overhead right now in Fargo. Off in the distance, you can see it's a little bright outside of the FM Metro, but here we're looking at 24 degrees and mostly cloudy skies. In Grand Forks, we have some snow being reported at the airport there at 26 degrees. A lot of us checking in into the low to some mid-20s today as we're starting our day, or rather our afternoon. So our conditions are going to be kind of variable. There are places dealing with clouds, other places where we've got some clearing skies allowing for views of Lake Sakakawea there. You can see in the snow pack that lake is showing up nice and bright. And we're looking up to the northwest for our next chance for some snow. You can see it in southern parts of Saskatchewan, and that's eventually going to be dropping into places like northeastern North Dakota later on this evening. So that's what we'll be watching out for. Expect to have dry conditions, especially in the southern valley, for the entire day into tonight. We'll be seeing similar conditions in the northern valley until we get into the evening hours. So again, it's going to vary depending on where you are, and we're going to get into the details on that. It's a big holiday travel week. So when I come back, we'll talk about how weather may impact your travels, not just for today, but throughout the week.
Yeah, definitely going to have a lot to go over. Lisa, thank you so much. Well, law enforcement officials say they are still investigating the motive behind this weekend's deadly shooting at an LGBTQ nightclub in Colorado Springs and whether it was a hate crime. A gunman opened fire inside the Club Q on Saturday night, killing 5 people and injuring 25 others before he was subdued by patrons. Danya Bacchus has the latest from Colorado Springs.
Family members who lost loved ones in the deadly shooting at Club Q in Colorado Springs say they're living in a nightmare.
I keep thinking it's a mistake. They've made a mistake.
Sabrina Aston says her son Daniel was a bartender at the club and was killed during Saturday night's rampage.
He lit up a room. He really did. Always smiling, always happy.
Detectives identified the shooting suspect as 22-year-old Anderson Lee Aldrich. Last year, a man with the same name and age was arrested for making a bomb threat that led to the evacuation of an entire neighborhood.
We are intent on ensuring that the actions of one lone male, regardless of what his motivations were, are not reflective of our community and don't define our community.
The rampage came ahead of Sunday's Transgender Day of Remembrance, which honors transgender lives lost to violence. On CBS Mornings, the Colorado Springs police chief called the attack tragic and horrific.
Club Q is a safe haven for this particular population, and I feel like I need to reach out and make sure that they understand the police department stands behind them.
But that reassurance may not be enough for some people who narrowly escaped the violence.
It's not a safe space anymore. It's not. I personally cannot go back in there. I know I can't.
Police say they are not prepared to call the shooting a hate crime, but it is something they are investigating. Danya Backus, CBS News, Colorado Springs, Colorado.
The CBS affiliate in San Diego reports the suspect is the grandson of an outgoing Republican assemblyman from California who drew harsh criticism from colleagues after he compared the January 6th attack to the American Revolutionary War. Well, at least 56 people were killed and 700 injured after a magnitude 5.6 earthquake shook the province of West Java, Indonesia this morning. Now, rescuers were trying to reach survivors trapped under the rubble as aftershocks hit. 4 schools and more than 50 houses collapsed or were badly damaged. A mosque and a hospital were also damaged. Indonesia straddles the so-called Pacific Ring of Fire, where different plates on the Earth's crust meet and create a large number of earthquakes and volcanoes. The Mapleton School District is getting one of the first electric school buses in North Dakota. There's a ceremony this afternoon at the school and will include the regional administrator of the EPA and North Dakota's director of environmental quality. Mapleton is getting $395,000 in EPA funding for the purchase. The cities of Enderlin and Glen Ullin are also getting e-buses. And today is the last day to apply for a Christmas food box from the Salvation Army. It's for anyone in need, but there is a limit of 1 box per household. We have a link to apply at valleynewslive.com. The food boxes will be sent out on Monday, December 19th at Hope Lutheran Church in South Fargo. And coming up at noon, as COVID, flu, and other respiratory viruses increase, so does concerns about the nation's blood supply. We'll explain how you can help during the winter months.